get up, get up, get up.
What is up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd Up Podcast, the official podcast of the New York Mets, episode 115, and this is a absolutely massive episode. Honestly, probably the biggest one we've had since the announcement of being the official podcast of the New York Mets, and that's because I won my first Esti-Met this weekend. No, of course it's not. It's because the Mets just took 4 of 5 from the Atlanta Braves in what has been the most important series the Mets have played in a very long time, most important series of the entire season, and they absolutely stuck it to them. It was phenomenal at Citi Field. The vibes were incredible, and we are so excited to talk to you guys about what happened this weekend. So, if you guys are not yet following us on all our social media, make sure you are at Mets'd Up, TikTok, Instagram, and not YouTube. Yeah, Twitter. Twitter's the one I forgot. I forgot Twitter. And if you're listening to the YouTube video or watching the YouTube video, check out the New York Mets YouTube channel. That's where you'll be able to find it. If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, wherever you get them, drop us a rating, a review, download, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's bring in James here. We're in a new spot. James, how you like it?
I kind of like it. We're in the control room. It's like the lifeblood of all Mets production. It's like the mitochondria of what goes on the scoreboard.
Mitochondria, good word. We haven't been dropping a lot of SAT words recently. I don't know how many times you can sneak mitochondria into a sentence, but that was a pretty smooth one.
We're just too focused on ball right now, and there's no reason not to be after what the Mets just did to the Atlanta Braves over the last 4 days.
I'm literally like, I'm up in the clouds right now. I'm feeling different. Yeah, high five. That deserves a high five, no doubt. We love high-fiving after big things. And it's just, this series was so important coming in. There was so much riding on this. And for the Mets to not only come out of it as the victors, I mean, 3-2 would have been nice.
Great.
4-1. You gained 3 games on the Braves, who at one point were really breathing down your necks. What was it, down to half a game and a half?
At one point, it was a half a game.
And now you have a 6.5 game lead with a month and a half of baseball, or 2 months left of baseball left, 7 games against the Braves. Still a lot of baseball to be had.
All in Atlanta.
All in Atlanta. We're not going to pull any Salicata nonsense over here and start making proclamations. But that being said, wow. This is a really amazing feeling. And the Citi Field was absolutely vibing.
Every single game. Like literally from the first pitch on Thursday to the last pitch on Sunday, every single fan, it felt like, was locked in, screaming, feeling themselves for as many moments as humanly possible. And this was not an easy weekend for the fans, too. I want to give a lot of credit to the fans. It was hot every single day. Hot for the fans, hot for everyone working the games, hot for the players out there. There were evenings where you were sitting down sweating. No sun, just humidity, sweat dripping off your face. But everyone showed up, and this place was as electric as it's been since I can remember.
After Friday night, I came back to my apartment. My parents dropped me off because they came to the game. Shout out to Marc and Tony. And I had to take a shower. I was soaking wet.
You don't usually do that after?
Not necessarily after a game.
That's crazy. I do after every single time.
I'm a morning shower guy.
Yeah,
I shower in the morning. I got to be woken up. I don't do coffee. I don't do caffeine, any of that nonsense. I'm all natural, but I do take a shower. I had to take another one after it because it was so humid and thick and hot. I mean, Thursday night even started off really nice when we were sitting up in left field. The breeze was amazing, and the balls were flying out Thursday night, as we saw, too. Mets hit a bunch of home runs. But then all of a sudden, like, come the 5th, 6th inning, the breeze stopped, and it just got thick air, and it kind of felt like that happened every single game this series.
Yeah, and the fact that this place was so jam-packed, that every single seat was full, which, again, that's something we don't really remember that often from the very near past. People are on top of each other. You're hot, you're sweating, and it's all getting in there. But, like, just from the jump on Thursday, it seemed like the Mets had this just feel about them, that they were here for business. Like, this was a statement series, and they looked very much ready to deliver that statement on Thursday night.
And it was also strange, too, because there was like some 7-line issues getting to the game on Thursday.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of delays, so the stadium filled in a little bit slower than normal.
I got caught in horrific traffic on Sunday. I missed Jacob deGrom's first pitch. I was so mad about that. I put up an Instagram story running. Literally, I got out of the car on the highway, and I sprinted like through the parking lot to try and get there in time. And I heard Simple Man like from the gate, and I was like, damn. But got close.
Got goosebumps listening to Simple Man, just to keep on that track. Jacob deGrom pitching, was unbelievable. But I was talking about the 7-line. I got to Queensboro Plaza like 30 minutes before you, and we got to the field at the same time. Because the 7-line, there was something going on. They had investigations, was what they were saying. I don't like that word when I'm on a train. I don't like hearing about investigations. But luckily made it there on time. And again, once everyone started to fill in, the place was buzzing. And it helped, too, because the Mets really took control of this game very early.
Yeah, by the second inning, it was 5-0 Mets. Pete had an RBI single in the first, which you always just love the great feeling of getting on board first. And then got crazy in second inning. My boy Tyler Naquin, home run, his first plate appearance as a Met in Citi Field. And then Pete and Vogie back-to-back. What do we call them? The Beef Brothers?
The Beef Brothers. I saw someone tweet us the Burger Brothers, which I also like that one
It's not
because
bad.
we have Big Meat Pete
Yeah.
and we have Beef Daniel Vogelbach. Burger Brothers, Beef Brothers, whatever it is. The way that Daniel Vogelbach has changed this lineup coming into it has made it so much deeper. Even Tyler Naquin now, who was hitting, 7th in this game?
Something like that.
I mean, you go back even a month ago and having what the lineup was looking like, and it's so drastically different, and it's way harder. They all have good at-bats. They all hit for power. We were going through the OPSs during the game. Everyone's hovering in that 700 or 750 to 800 range, which is awesome.
Or even just the lower 700s, which is still above league average for this year in baseball. And that was the third time that Mets players have gone back-to-back this season. And like I said, it was 5-0 before everyone settled in, especially before the Atlanta Braves settled in, because Carlos Carrasco got in a groove early in this game that he would not get out of.
No, he was absolutely awesome. Carlos Carrasco all year has been one of the best pitchers on this team, and especially the last month has been really just lights out. I mean, scoreless inning after scoreless inning after scoreless inning, getting guys to chase. He's been money.
Yeah, he's retired 12 of the first 14 he even faced in this game. Before he gave a few back in the fifth, the Braves saw him a third time. Ronald Acuna hit a home run after twice Carlos Carrasco struck him out with very nice sliders. Then Acuna spit on a very nice slider, and then the next one was a spinner, fell back in zone, he hit it out. You tip your cap. One of the best players in baseball. Finally decided to actually start playing well in the first 4 games of the series against the Mets.
Gary jinxed him a little bit.
He did jinx him a
We
little
were at
bit.
the game, but I got text from my dad saying that Gary was talking about Acuna having a down season, and it seemed like within seconds he got that home run, started to play well. I mean, he's one of the best players in baseball. I'll give that to the Braves. Ronald Acuna is a good player.
Yeah, I'll give you one. But after when this start was all said and done for Carrasco, 6 innings, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts, 4 hits, just 1 walk. He was so in control. This felt a lot like that Marlins start from 2 Saturdays ago. Or that was even last Saturday, maybe. I can't even.
Dude,
time is.
after a 5-game series.
That was actually just last Saturday.
That feels like a month ago.
Yeah,
my God. I mean, it technically was. It was July, I guess. It
Technically
technically was a
I
month
guess.
ago.
True,
if we're
before
doing
the trade deadline.
semantics.
But just like he's in, like he said, he's in a rocking chair. It's just back and forth. Fastball, slider. Change up, fastball, slider. That's all you got to do. Slider, especially, said it before, was amazing. 7 whiffs on 18 swings. I mentioned the 2 against Acuna. The pitch was just absolute butter, and it's helping Carrasco to have one of the best chase rates in all baseball. It was 43.5% on, I can't remember the day, on Thursday. Scoreless 22 2/3 scoreless inning streak, 1.5 ERA in his last 6 starts. John, give me some more numbers here. 20 swings on 45 pitches out of the zone. That's ridiculous.
Absolutely
How do you
disgusting.
even do that?
No, he's just been so dominant. And this was a big day for you because these were a lot of your guys. Carlos Carrasco, Tyler Naquin hitting 2 home runs. The first Met to ever hit 2 home runs in a home debut.
Huge for the brand.
Big for the James Shiano brand. How does it feel to be so right on these calls right now?
Right now, I'm hot right now, and I hit it. I had a lot of Met fans tweet back at me the exact thing I tweeted when the Mets traded for Tyler Naquin.
Yeah.
Tyler Naquin's a really good baseball player who will fit well in the Mets. Like, a bunch of people
is.
responded that to me when I was going crazy about Naquin on Thursday.
Dude, it's unbelievable. Like, it's so funny. We talked about this, and now kind of just talking about the series as a whole here, but the Mets, I think, have lost 2 of their last 14 games.
Yeah.
They've been on an absolute roll.
And in both losses, people act like the sky was falling.
Literally.
Yeah.
The trade deadline, you thought that this team was going to not make the playoffs. That's how it was acting.
Did the Mets win the trade deadline?
The Mets had a great trade deadline, it seemed like, with the acquisitions that they made, especially because, I mean, last Esti-Met, we had our choices, and I ended up winning this because I went with the over on hits. You said a great line again.
I did.
You said a line of 7.
Bookmaker.
They got 10. But there was a great series for the new acquisitions on the hitting side, at least.
Definitely. We'll talk about those guys a little bit more. But to wrap up Thursday, because it feels like 13 lifetimes ago.
So long.
Edwin Díaz came out for what turned out to be a 6-out save. The first of his entire career, which very much surprised me. And there was this kind of moment of like trepidation in between the 8th and 9th inning where Edwin came in very clearly to pitch against the top of the order, it seemed like. And just because also there was no off day, the Mets are rolling a lot of games, a lot of days here. And he comes in the dugout. He has a word with Buck and Hef. They both look at everyone, each other, nod. And Taijuan Walker looks at everybody and was like, ain't in.
He's going back in?
Wow. He gave like a great, gifable, memeable face there. And it was just unbelievable. And you see that this entire team is starting to rise to the occasion as this month has flipped from July to August. And Buck specifically about Diaz coming out for the 6-out save. He said, hey, we manage April, May, June, July one way. But once that calendar turns to August and you got to put the foot on the gas pedal, like you have to manage differently. And big ups to Edwin Díaz for answering this call.
Yeah, especially in what is the most important series of the year, going up against the Braves. That was a win we desperately needed, I think, in this series.
Also, a 5-game series is so weird. The only experience we really have with 5-game series is the first round of the postseason, like the divisional series.
And you get days off.
I know, but you know about how important winning that first game is to get close to those winning a series. And the Mets were even able to blow through, which is winning a series is, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, I mean, and we had the Braves series last year. It went a lot differently than it did this year, which
Jared
very
Eichhoff.
happy. Yeah, we shouldn't be. That's like a boogeyman name in there. We shouldn't say it. He might appear at any moment if you say his name. He's like, someone wants me.
Jared
Someone's
Eichhoff
interested.
could pop up one of these TVs in here.
Oh,
It wouldn't
without
be
a
the
doubt.
craziest thing in the world.
In the control room, there's got to be someone rolling some B-roll of Jared Eichhoff somewhere.
Yeah, also, just another thing to mention in this game, 4 home runs in the game, match season high for the Mets. And also, Francisco Lindor in this game, second at bat, got his OPS for the season over 800. It's a long and winding road, but we made it.
Dude's a good baseball player.
So
I mean,
good.
we say this every episode. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but how much longer do you need to get on the Francisco Lindor bandwagon? Like, why do you want to be the one that's difficult? Why do you want to be different? Why do you want to be wrong, honestly, now? It's not even that you want to be right. You want to be wrong because all this guy has done this year has been one of the best shortstops in all of baseball. Exactly what we paid him for, which is what everyone complains about.
For the people who still hate Francisco Lindor and try to, like, rally against him, it's kind of like if you're playing poker, Texas Hold'em specifically. Like, let's say you have pocket sevens, and turn comes, and it's like 7, 4, 10.
I'm really trying to figure out where you're going with this.
You're like, I'm hanging out here. Oh, my God. Like, I'm so locked in. 7, 4, 10. I have 3 of a kind. Like, I'm going to go in. Like, I'm ready, and I'm going to commit to this pot. And then all of a sudden... No, so that's the I don't know exactly.
Yeah, where were you going?
Then the 4th card comes over, it's an ace, and the river card comes over, it's an ace. And now you have 3 sevens, but you're staring at 2 aces. You know someone else still in this hand has an ace.
Yeah.
And you're still pretending like your sevens are going to win, and then the cards flip over, and oh my God, you lost the hand.
Yeah.
You're pot committed. Sometimes you have to do something. It felt right at the time. Now you realize it might be wrong, and you should readjust your strategy.
Sunk cost, right? Sunken cost?
Possibly.
Is that what it's called?
That's over our pay grades.
Yeah, that's economics. I'm a
much for us.
YouTuber here. You're capitalist James now, though.
I'm not really. Do Twitter. Social media guy.
Thursday, though, great way to start the series.
Yes.
Awesome job. Edwin Díaz, lights out. Just been the best closer in baseball all year.
Yeah, I remember we were just thinking about like the fact that Edwin pitched 2 innings. He's probably not going to be available Friday. We hope we get 1 game of the doubleheader, and then things changed.
Yeah, things changed. Now Friday. That being said, we'll briefly go over this game. Although
Some very important things happened in this game.
Low-key might have been the most important game of this entire series, even though the Mets lost, and this was our first real poop fest in quite some time.
Like a month.
We haven't thrown that out a lot. We were throwing it out almost every episode.
Well, this was still the second game of the series, and the Mets lose second games of series. This is actually a big deal for the Mets, having these longer series. Like, if we had more 4 or 5 game series, we lose game 2, and then we just rip.
It's a team built for the playoffs.
Absolutely is. But this was a poop fest, and it kind of started with Taijuan Walker having by far his worst start of the season, worst start since dating back to the second half of last year. Had a lot of Mets fans quitting on Taijuan Walker, which something
crazy.
I'm a little disappointed in, saying he's like a first half merchant, things like that. It's not true.
I heard boos, and I was
it's
like,
cringe.
guys. First off, if you've been listening to this podcast, you know Taijuan's a different pitcher than he was last year. That splitter changes everything.
It's a great moment to buy low on Taijuan Walker.
Awesome moment. And also, if you watched that first inning, you saw he had that weird moment where he kind of threw that weird pitch where he tweaked his knee a little bit.
Seemed like he landed weird watching it on television. I know you were in the ballpark. It just seemed like after that he was planting a little bit less certainly, and the pitches weren't really having the same break we've seen them have recently, and that kind of bore itself out in the velocity and the movement. So I just kind of got to throw that one up to happenstance.
Mets are going to lose games.
Yeah.
Mets are going to lose games. Here's where we start to spin zone this thing, though.
Yes.
This was a game that was over in the first inning.
Yeah,
Or
second
inning.
really.
It was 8-0. Mets were fighting, though, every single inning, so much so that they were able to get to the Braves bullpen relatively early in an 8-0 game and make them use their best relievers, which in a 5-game series especially, it showed in the last 3 games.
And it very much started right after the Mets gave up all the runs. From the bottom of the second inning, the Mets were hot. Brandon Nimmo had the at-bat with 2 outs, hit a single. Tomas Nido scored. No, Tyler Naquin scored, and then Joey Cora being aggressive with 2 outs.
Yeah.
Whatever you think of the call, he's 2 outs. You kind of just send the guy, especially a guy who can run a little bit in Guillorme.
Yeah, I didn't agree with it, but I don't care anymore.
Got hosed at the plate. You got to tip your cap to. That was Acuna or Harrison that throw?
That was Michael Harris who's got
Acuna robbed the Pete home run, I believe,
Yes.
right after this, which.
Michael Harris, good ball player.
Yes, Ronald Acuna also a good ball player. But you got to give a lot of credit to that Mets offense for immediately fighting back, getting guys on almost every single inning, and then especially for Trevor Williams.
Yes.
For coming into a game where the Braves were kind of like wolves, circling like a wounded deer when Taijuan Walker was losing it, and they were probably licking their chops for Trevor Williams to come in the game, and he kept everybody at bay for 4 innings, just keeping everything in the yard. Nothing was really hit that hard, a couple for sure, but everything, he did every single thing we ever could have imagined him doing.
I think we're officially at the moment where the trade that went down last year for Pete Crow Armstrong.
Oh, the Trevor Williams trade.
It's the Trevor Williams trade now.
Yeah, for sure.
He's had way more of an impact on this Mets team than Javi Baez did.
I mean, Javi Baez, people forget, had an unbelievable second half last year.
He was good.
He hit 300 with 10 homers.
What did he do for me this year?
Nothing. He didn't have it. But you know what? It was great not signing.
It was a great
You're
move.
not compounding bad moves, but that's
Ep dog.
Trevor Williams, Heike saved the whole series, going 4 innings, keeping the Braves off the board, and then allowing, and also Joely, Givens, Tommy Hunter too, and then giving the Mets an opportunity to get back into this game enough to where we were going to make the Braves expend their best relievers. But the big blow was Darren Ruff against
Dylan Lee.
Dylan Lee. Double off the wall, so close to going out.
So
the
close.
SNY cameras this series were really killing me.
Little
Because that one was like
suspect.
right there, and it like zoomed all the way in on it. I was like, where's the ball?
Yeah, Darren Ruff, that was a big one for me because I caught a lot of flack. Flack's the right word. I caught a lot of flack on Twitter. John, you're laughing over there? You like that one?
Yeah, I mean, I thought after the last episode you'd have that one down.
Flack and slag.
You got to know me.
We gotta have like a big board in the back. Slack.
Yeah, that's like a
Flow chart.
Play like a champion. It's gonna say flack does not equal slack. But I caught a lot of flack for the Darren Ruff comments, and I immediately
Just like me with Naquin.
Yeah, like this was a big redemption series
Yeah,
for
it
our
was.
takes because boy, oh boy, do we hit the nail on the head. Darren Ruff crushes lefties. It was a fact, and he showed it in this game, which was awesome to see him come off the bench like that. Also, Buck Showalter masterclass.
Yeah, it's just Buck Showalter was getting the pinch hitters ready from the first half of this game, like 4th, 5th inning.
Dude, even in today's game, which when we're recording it on Sunday, he brought in Darren Ruff for Vogelbach in the 4th inning.
Yeah.
He made the switch early because there was guys on base, guys in scoring position. He's like,
Gotta do it.
you got to do it. If you want to win these games, every single run matters. As we've seen in this series as well, every single run mattered.
And we're all learning right now on the fly that platoons like really do work. Like if you put your players in a more advantageous situation, like they'll usually play better.
Who would have thought? It's
amazing.
Like, baseball is like such a specialized sport and you play your own position, but the actual act of hitting hadn't really been specialized until the last 5-10 years with the platoon stuff.
Yeah.
And now teams are starting to use them more and more, and that's why a guy like Darren Ruff really fits on a lot of teams.
Pushing back on that for half a second, I do recall some stories about the Mets in 1986 having a lot of pretty strict platoons.
Yes,
Davey Johnson.
They did. And that's something that I don't think gets talked about enough, but when you like talk about that 86 team, you always like, if you talk to our dads, they'll name like 15 hitters.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, well, only 8 at that point because the pitcher was still hitting could be in a lineup.
Deep bench back then, though.
Deep bench, of course. But John, you have a platoon stat for us.
Yeah, so you guys are talking about the importance of platoons, and the Mets have leveraged it all year long. They've had the advantage in the platoon 54% of the time this year. That means if there's a righty pitcher, they have a lefty batter, and vice versa. Tied for the highest in baseball. That wasn't the case the last 3, 4, 5 years with this team. And it was pretty obvious that was where they were going at the deadline. They wanted to be that platoon specialist team. We've seen teams win World Series like this, and
Oh, yeah.
it's worked for the Mets so far.
The Rays literally get to the World Series with just
Nothing.
platoon every position, essentially. So you have the really good players like Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, Jeff McNeil, all the guys on this team, Starling Marte, Brendan Nimmo. And then you could sprinkle in little platoons here and there to get more offense out of the positions that are maybe lacking as a whole against both sides. Like, it's just called being smart. It's a good process.
It also just feels like a kind of shift in the Mets' entire organizational philosophy that we've harped on a lot on this show. The fact that at this deadline, the Mets were shrewd, whether people think they maybe should give them more prospects or not to go all in this year or not, they were still able to improve in a lot of different ways, in a lot of very pertinent ways, very, very efficiently and very easily. And we got a shout out after trade deadline from a friend of ours, friend of the show, former guest, executive editor of Baseball America, Matt Eddy. Shout out you, Matt. Hopefully you listen to this one.
Let's go, Matt.
Said that, love the Mets trade deadline, and that, the way that we described it, because, this, while it wasn't flashy or sexy, you saw immediately, all Mets fans, how important all of these 3 hitters the Mets acquired have become to this team.
Yeah.
Mets have lost 1 game since trade deadline. It was on the trade deadline.
Yeah, basically.
2 games, yeah.
2 games. But, this team is completely different now offensively. The bench is exactly what we were looking for. And this is, just to kind of wrap up this game, too, here, they forced the Braves to use their best bullpen arms because even though the Braves still kind of did have a decent lead at most points in this game, the Mets were putting the Braves in scenarios where it's like, oh my goodness, we have to get an out here. And the Mets are putting in Darren Ruff to face the lefty. The Mets are putting in Tyler Naquin to face the righty. Whatever it is, they're giving themselves the best matchup. They're giving themselves the best advantage. And the Braves had to use how many arms?
In the game, the Braves were leading 8-0 in the second inning. The Braves had to pitch 6 different guys. Big part of that's because Ian Anderson is just simply not very effective. He got sent to the minor leagues the other day, I think on Sunday, actually.
Today.
Dylan Lee had 13 pitches. Colin McHugh, 14 pitches. A.J. Minter, 22 pitches. I think we only saw A.J. Minter one other time in the series
Today.
after that. Yeah. Raisel Iglesias, 11 pitches. He actually did get into another game. And then Kenley Jansen's only appearance in this series, 15 pitches.
Yeah, I mean, they just made
And
them
in
use
that
the
same
bullpen.
game, the Mets pitched Trevor Williams, Joely Rodriguez, Michael Givens, and Tommy Hunter. So to put the pressure on the Braves after leading this game 8-0 in the second inning and not using anybody in either our I'd say, or B team bullpens, It's a masterclass.
Especially moving into the big doubleheader on Saturday, because this was a big day.
Yeah.
The Mets had an opportunity. Both teams really had an opportunity to make a big move here. This was going to sway the entire series. And luckily for the Mets, I mean, taking both of these games is amazing. I saw a stat that the Mets hadn't been swept in a doubleheader in like
22 or 24 doubleheaders.
Yeah, I mean, like they've been really good in doubleheaders recently.
And last year there were so many.
There were so many last year, so many. But the fact that they were able to come out and take both of these games in the doubleheader very easily, is easily the right word?
I mean, it's kind of the right word. It wasn't like that stressful relatively to how stressful other games have been. There wasn't many moments. Did the Mets even trail in this doubleheader?
I don't think so. I think they led for the entire doubleheader, both games. Like they were just better than the Braves. I know the Braves fans and all the Braves personalities and the Braves players. Spencer Strider after today was
so
really
whiny. How could you whine?
We went to Clemson. As a Gamecock, I have to throw some shade at Clemson.
That's a whiny school.
That's a whiny school.
But there also was... I just lost my train of thought here for a second.
I'll take it. There was like moments in this game that the games did get close. I don't want to make it sound like the Mets just railroaded the Braves, because the Braves are still a very, very good team. Like this is going to be a team
fantastic.
It's going to make the playoffs and be very dangerous. They won the World Series last year. Go for what you're going to say.
I was wondering, because I remember when this schedule came out, and even we discussed it, that Scherzer was going to be the game one guy versus Fried, and the second game of the doubleheader was going to be like the lesser pitchers, Peterson versus Odorizzi. I wonder what moment that changed, because I think that swap kind of gave the Mets this incredible mental advantage in the series, especially getting runs off the bat against Odorizzi, who's not very good.
No.
Never really. He has been, but like right now, this Braves team, he's nothing special. The Mets getting runs in the first inning against Jake Odorizzi. Now suddenly you have a Braves team that the series is tied at the moment, but you're staring at Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom.
Yeah.
And this is David Peterson. Like, this is the one you're supposed to hit. And you're losing off the bat, and you only have Jake Odorizzi on the mound, who can't seem to really stop the Mets from getting on base and getting on base and getting on base.
I saw a good tweet that I really liked from KFC over at Barstool, which he's kind of changed his tone a little bit with the Mets. I got to give him some credit. He's no longer jumping off the bridge like he usually does. But that being said, he was like, this 5-game series, it's kind of two separate series. It's like you have the 2-game series where the Mets split, and then you have a 3-game series, like you mentioned, with Scherzer and deGrom in it. Like the Mets were still in a really good scenario, and that's why winning game 1 was so important, and you saw it in this.
We also independently had the thought that the series felt like hockey more than baseball, which is bizarre. Mark said that, and I texted him that also later that night. Strange, but it just felt like these teams like were just like trying to hit each other more so than like trying to like play like a finessed baseball game.
Well, and you were just like, it was tight. It was tight. You were on the edge of your seat this entire series too.
Even like with a lead, you're worried about giving up runs because you don't want like someone to get momentum. Like momentum, sometimes the thing in baseball is more a thing in like the sports that have flow.
Yeah.
Baseball, football, hockey, basketball. But you felt that here, and you saw these guys like the emotion, the animosity, like really be pertinent. Even after Thursday, the Mets were doing curtain calls, and it was like kind of a funny thing.
Yeah.
Vogie got one. I think Naquin kind of did one as like half a joke after a second one, and then the Braves on Friday were like taking sarcastic curtain calls.
Yeah.
Like, of course, trying to make fun of the Mets, because the thing around baseball, the Mets celebrate their regular season wins more than any other team. Sure. Okay, I get that. But hilarious that the Braves, you can just see it like infiltrating their conscience.
Which is nice.
Great.
That's a big check mark. That's
huge.
Like two respect points right there for the Mets, that they kind of got in the Braves' head a little bit. And I mean, like, just even talking about these 2 games, because I know we've kind of been talking all over about the series, and that's what's going to happen in a 5-gamer. But again, David Peterson,
awesome,
been so great for this team. We've said it multiple times, but to go 5 innings like he did,
and a third,
okay, I'll give him. Yeah, can't forget the extra third.
That was Matt Olson. It's a big out.
That was a big out, especially because we've seen what Matt Olson has done to him the 3rd time he's faced him every single time.
This is the 3rd time that David Peterson's faced Atlanta Braves this year. All 3 times he's pitched very well for precisely 5 innings. And two times before this, the 3rd time Matt Olson saw him hit the ball out of the park.
Yeah, and he got his 200th career strikeout on that Matt Olson time time in this game. So
like, even before that happened, though, Olson hit a mammoth fly ball.
Oh, crushed it.
Yeah,
I went, oh my God, we did it again. It happened again, but he threw 99.
Yeah, hardest pitch of his career.
The slider was disgusting again. I mean, David Peterson.
That standing ovation.
Did get a standing ovation. Deserved it.
Yes.
Deservedly so. And in a game where you're going up against Jake Odorizzi, who's not the ace, like I think you did make a really good point earlier. The Braves kind of moving Max Fried to that 2nd game. Because if you, let's say there's a world where they beat Max Scherzer. Now,
did they initiate it? Like, who initiated? The Mets or the Braves? Because whoever initiated it, the other team would have had to have matched.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I don't really know. I don't even know if you know, John, or have heard anything about this. But someone had to have said this was going to get flopped. But it getting flopped really changed the entire tone of this series. Because you knew, as a Mets player, as a Mets fan, as a Mets coach, you win this game, and you have a foot on the neck.
Yeah. with Max Scherzer on the mound. I mean,
they did. They really did. He knows Rizzi every single inning. Peterson was amazing. Talked about the sinker. Fastball and slider, both awesome. 13 called strikes to fastball.
Wow.
Yes,
13.
amazing. And he was very much capped at those 80 pitches, which is kind of where he's been around this year, just going around the other 3 times.
Yeah.
But I feel like him finding that velocity, it just might be the beginning of him transitioning into this swingman-ish role.
Yeah, Gary mentioned on the broadcast, he was saying that Peterson came out hot, and he goes, maybe that's because he's kind of learning how to be a reliever, and that's how he has to come out, because he definitely had way more juice in the first inning than he did the rest of the game. Throwing 99, we've never seen him do that.
No, literally the hardest of his career. And this game, the bats did a lot. We talked about them just getting after Jacob Rizzi. It was just a lot of heat, a lot of long at-bats, a lot of balls in play.
That's what they do, man.
Plenty of walks. Like, it was just absolutely nonstop. Wait, first, breaking news, John has a note about base runners. John?
Yeah, we were talking about Odorizzi and how he was constantly under siege. And in this Game 1 win, the Mets had a base runner in every single turn to bat in all 8 innings.
Wow.
Obviously, they didn't take
awesome.
an at-bat in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show the pressure they apply. High-stress pitches for the bullpen of the other team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you really got that sense that they kind of just wore Atlanta down, especially on Saturday, which was a long day at the park for everyone.
For you guys. Yeah, we weren't here. We didn't come to that one.
No.
We were bowling.
It was hot. It was a great day bowling. Shout out to Guther. But that you kind of did feel the effects of the Friday because as Jacob Rizzi got into trouble, they didn't have their best relievers to bring in for him. And you saw Bryce Elder. Yeah. And there's someone else you saw wasn't quite that good.
I don't know.
I don't remember. But, like, you felt like the Braves were like, oh, we don't have the answers right now for this. Like, we keep getting punched and we're not putting up, it's kind of like when a boxer, I'm watching boxing right now in SNY. It's like when a boxer gets tired and you stop putting your hands up.
Yeah.
They couldn't put their hands up. And even as the Braves kept getting runs, the Mets kept going right back and right back and right back, not letting them breathe.
Yep. Lindor, a bunch of RBIs. James McCann, Jimmy Big Hits, getting a big one for us, making a lead 8-2. Unfortunately, Yohan Lopez couldn't keep it close, and we did have to get Edwin Díaz in the game.
And right before this happened, Francisco Lindor and Pete hit balls like to the warning track. Each could have made it like an 8-run game.
Yeah. So it would have been nice if Yohan could have closed out the game, but again, that's Saturday Game 1's problem. We won the series. Now,
these are first world problems.
Couldn't care less. The Mets still won this game. They swept the doubleheader, as we mentioned.
Lindor, 3 hits, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored.
Good baseball
Really
player.
good.
Him and Pete were just incredible this series, and it feels like
Been incredible since the All-Star break.
getting Vogie in that lineup has really changed the way these guys perform. They just it feels like a weight has been lifted off their shoulders a little bit, maybe in that, like, okay, yeah, we still are supposed to be the run producers, we still are supposed to be doing the heavy lifting, but if I don't, the guy behind me has me now.
Yeah. Can I talk about Max Scherzer for a minute?
Go. I want you to talk about him for 2 minutes.
Wow, 2 minutes. All right, so I'm going to start the clock. This start for Max Scherzer was the start where the Yankee one was good, but it's still just Yankees, still just an interleague game.
Yes.
This one against the Braves with winning the series like in grasp against one of the better pitchers in the National League, Max Fried on the other side. You see it. This is the entire reason he's on this team. This is the entire reason you fork over all that money to have Max Scherzer play for you. This is the whole reason that we stay up all night and random November night to pray to God that Max Scherzer signs with this team.
Might be the reason we have this podcast.
It's probably the reason we have this podcast. We're talking to you guys in this room right now with real microphones and real lights and real cameras. But Mark hit me in the shoulder when we were at the bowling alley after one of the first pitches of the game. Max Scherzer struck somebody out in the first inning. He might have struck out the first couple bats of the game.
I think he did. He was pretty dominant from the start.
And he just got the ball and he took his walk around the mound. And it's like, this guy isn't pitching. This man is hunting.
When he is pacing like that, it's like I wouldn't want to say anything to him.
No.
I don't want to be in the general vicinity. I don't even know if I really want to be in the stadium.
You know where I really don't want to be? 90 feet away.
Yeah, in the batter's box.
60.
Yeah, in the batter's box. Don't want to be anywhere close to him pitching because he is a guy who, whether or not he has his best stuff, he did have his best stuff,
This
by
was
the
the
way.
best stuff,
Spoiler
yeah.
alert. But he will just will it regardless.
Yeah.
Mentally, you're not going to beat this guy.
And the fact that he always has that mental floor, and then when the stuff is there, that's how you get one of the greatest pitchers of a generation.
Yeah,
Because his floor is a guy who refuses to lose.
No.
And his ceiling is a guy who's the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, he came into this game and he said, "Oh, you're not beating me.
No.
It's not happening.
We were
Not
winning
on
the
my
series
watch."
today, and I'm handing ball to Jake to kill you guys.
I mean, he threw 108, 109 pitches. We thought that there was a chance he maybe didn't come out for the 7th.
Yeah.
and
Came right out.
we saw him walking in the dugout. We're like, oh, he's
staying in.
He's like, you take me out, you're gonna have to literally
I thought there was even have a chance he would come out for the 8th, 107 pitches.
Which
it
would've
looked
been-
like he was really on it. And then just the final stat line: 7 innings, only 4 hits allowed, 11 strikeouts, 2 hard hit balls from a Braves team that has one of the best hard hit percentages, best barrel rates in all of baseball. 2 hard hit balls, 7 innings against Max Scherzer. Only Edwin Díaz.
yeah.
Oh, slider. Talk about the slider. Want to go slider? I went a bullet point too far. Slider had 12 whiffs and 21 swings. That's just basically par for the course of Max Scherzer having 50% whiff rate. And it's honestly been better since he came back from injury. Only Edwin Díaz has a higher whiff rate on a slider than Max Scherzer since Max Scherzer came off the IL. Two Mets.
He's got a pretty good slider, too.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Little Jeremy Hefner sprinkling the
Literally.
magic again.
Only one Brave reached third base against Max Scherzer. And that Brave was Travis d'Arnaud, who was gunned down by Luis Guillorme at home plate.
Dude, I was laughing after the game because, like, I've been watching some of the post-game stuff just because for the podcast, we can get some, like, fun sound bites.
For sure.
And I don't know who it was, but someone asked Guillorme who had the best reaction in the dugout to your play at the plate. He's like, I don't know, man. Like, I was out on the field. Like, he's like, I don't really, like...
Well, someone also asked Guillorme, like, what was going through your mind that play? He was like, I knew I had him. I was going to throw it.
He talked about it really well, too. He
Made
was
like a
like,
nice pick. He even took a second.
Yeah, well, because he said he took a second that... Because if Travis doesn't go and he throws the ball home, he has to be going. He could just go back to third, and all of a sudden they're really in trouble.
For sure.
He's like, but once I saw he took those hard steps, he's like, oh, I got him, no problem. And a great play by Nito at the plate as well.
Right on him.
Great job.
85 miles an hour to home plate from in the hole at second base.
That was his 109th career game with 10 Ks for Scherzer. Passes Pedro for sole possession of fourth on the all-time list. I saw the other names on the list, too. What was
funny.
it? It was like Clemens, Randy Johnson, Nolan Ryan, I think, Pedro, him.
And was Verlander? No, Verlander's the other stat. He actually Scherzer in this game tied Justin Verlander for, I think, the 14th most strikeouts all time.
John, I see you wrote a pun in here with Max Fried. Do you want to just take this one for yourself?
Oh, you talking about the breakfast pun?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, obviously, Jake Odorizzi. Is that how you pronounce it? Or is it Odorizzi?
It might be Odorizzi.
I don't know.
I think it's Odorizzi. I've heard it was for the purpose of the connection that was made here.
Yes.
We'll say Jake Odorizzi. So he pitches game 1, and then the Brave game 2 starter is Max Fried, and it's spelled like fried. And I was thinking, and I was like, oh my God, we missed a great opportunity to make an egg pun. These are 2 ways you can eat your eggs.
You don't want to miss an egg pun.
And then I was like, I got it. And when Max Fried's taking his warm-up, we let the masses know that this was an excellent 1-2 punch
Painful.
for the Braves. By the way,
Fourth grade
what's your favorite way to eat eggs?
Ooh, that's a good question. James is a big egg guy.
I'm a huge egg
James
guy.
will make frittatas.
I do make some frittatas. I mean, it's more like an omelet. Mark just calls them frittatas because they're a little bit thick. I mean,
So
omelets.
you're not baking it. Like a frittata is like
you have to
bake a
it's not-
frittata?
mine's in a pan.
Or
Mine's
a
in pan.
microwave,
I think I thought
yeah.
that was a quiche.
Oh, that is a quiche. Not the same thing? I
Dog.
think it's similar.
Big 3 favorite way to eat eggs. I mean,
I eat my eggs one way. I'll just get out of the way. I scramble
there's
them.
nothing worse than a scramble. A fried egg also hits the spot in the right way.
On a
Sandwich,
bagel.
stacking things together.
On a
Yeah.
bagel, that's elite.
Love a
Little
fried egg.
sriracha.
I guess I do eat a fried egg.
Little
It's
sriracha,
not
of course.
only, John's the sriracha king over there. James, what did you pick your favorite?
If I'm like, this is it. This is my last time to eat eggs in my life. I'll probably take the time to make an omelet.
Yeah, you make more. When we lived together, you made more omelets than I've seen in my entire life.
We had a lot of time we lived together. I had a nice relaxing afternoon.
It was COVID.
It wasn't like it was now.
We had nothing else to do. It was cook, play video games, hang out on the balcony, and play some beer die. That was pretty much it.
Basically the entire COVID for us. And Max Scherzer, just get back to baseball for a brief moment. We talked about him ending this game before. He struck out the side in that 7th inning on 15 pitches to end his day. Like,
He was like, I'm better than you.
it's unbelievable.
I'm sick.
SNY flashed that. You said it before, but it was like Nolan Ryan and Randy Johnson, I think, are like 100 games of multi-strikeouts ahead
No,
of
I think that,
Scherzer, Pedro, and somebody else.
I think Clemens.
Clemens, yeah. But just,
Clemens is 110, so Max is about to catch him too.
Okay, so
Good, catch him.
it was just Ryan and Johnson then who have like 200 games of double-digit strikeouts. And the other top 5 guys have it's like single digit. No,
Just 100.
200 versus 100.
Yeah, I mean, if Max Scherzer didn't miss that time, he's in the Cy Young conversation. He's probably the favorite.
I mean, he's probably gonna throw as many innings as like Tony Gonsolin and like Corbin Burns last year. Like, why can't he win the Cy Young with the elite stats?
1.98 ERA.
I think the whip is like in the 8s.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good. This Max Scherzer guy. He's not bad. John, I know you had a trivia thing for us, which we haven't done in a while. I'm interested.
And I know you love this.
I love this.
Yeah.
Well, this is an easy one. It's not like,
Easy.
10, 11. It's only 3 other guys. So Max Scherzer obviously just turned 38 the night he beat the Yankees on July 27th.
Yes.
And he strikes out 11 last night. So he became the 4th different Mets pitcher with 10 or more strikeouts in a game, age 38 or older. So I want you guys to guess, do you know the other 3? And my clue is that all 3 were Mets in our lifetime.
Okay,
So we're
okay.
not going back. Have at it.
Okay, I got one. Al Leiter.
That's great.
Let's go.
Weird one. Chris Young.
Not great. He was not 38 when he pitched for
Yeah,
the
no,
Mets. No.
There it is.
I'm going to go with Pedro.
No.
He was not 38.
No. But a teammate of Pedro's is one of them.
Oh, a teammate of Pedro's.
A teammate of Pedro's.
Tom Glavine.
Tom Glavine is correct.
Okay.
And another
Well, hanging
teammate of
fruit.
Pedro's.
We're thinking another one here, too.
It was on that
This is
staff
the
who's
tricky one.
38.
El Duque.
Wow.
Let's go.
Good job.
Let's
guy.
go.
Let's go. Get hot.
Get hot. Dude, here's the thing.
Crushed him.
I'm so, through all the sporkles that I've done in my lifetime for my YouTube channel, which is a shocking amount that people love those, but hey, I'll keep doing them. Mid-2000s baseball, I'm so cash money. Like
That's
I have
crazy. I got nothing.
I have a ridiculous. I'll just start naming players. Adam Ensberg.
Oh, we were doing this the other night.
Morgan
Ensberg.
Ensberg. Adam Everett.
Adam Everett.
Like just some guys.
David Eckstein.
David Eckstein. Yeah, we could
Yeah.
just sit around and name
John
random players for
Mabry.
hours. I don't like that one. That guy was not very good. for the
Brian
Mets.
Giles.
Brian Giles.
Brave
Marcus.
legend.
Marcus.
Speaking of the Braves.
No, Marcus was the
Marcus,
Braves legend.
yeah.
Well, I don't think he was a legend. Anyway,
It's a legend for us.
great way. Trevor May got in this game too.
He did.
Which was nice. I mean, he gave up a run.
I think
him and
Givens did too. Yeah, they'll be better.
It's fine. We won the game. What do we care?
Absolutely. Tomas Nido with the hardest hit ball of this game, 104.9 off the bat. Just love to see that.
Love it.
Laced
Absolutely
the double,
love it.
got a
Swinging
rally
the bat
going.
really well recently.
Pete had a funky, funny slide at home on a play that was reviewed that was like so close. Travis Arno, shout out him for half a second because he made like a catch on his right foot and like spun around in midair and got a tag down like on his left foot. Still wasn't in time though.
We saw Pete come out and do the.
Yeah.
He kind of gave. I'm gonna draw parallels here. It's David Wright-esque with that fist pump
see
after the Mets buried the Nationals in Washington.
Absolutely. Also, Naquin got his insurance with an RBI single or double. Tomas Nido brought him in with a safety squeeze. Second Mets squeeze this year.
This was a family affair. Everybody was getting involved.
Team win. Scherzer said at the end of the game it was a big team win.
And it led us into Sunday.
Yes,
the
but-
final game. We're slogging through these 5 here.
Also, before we do that, second doubleheader sweep against the Braves this year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, back in May.
Yeah, I forgot about.
Love
Were
that.
we there?
We were there.
We were
We
there.
got on TV with the 7 line.
Yeah, that was. Oh, we did get on TV. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Love that. Going into Sunday, the big day.
Also, before this, one
Oh
more.
yeah, stop me again. Go for it. What do you got?
Because we were hanging at that bar at LIC and we're watching this game. SOY's like started to pepper in some like analytics like tables.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was like home run percentage, hit percentage, strikeout percentage, but the word instead of like the percent sign, they were using PCT as like the percentages. Extra base hit percentage was bizarre.
Home run percentage is so low for everybody that it's nonsense.
And also, they
stat.
were using no decimal places. So it was like 1%, 2%, 1%, 1%, 2%, 3%, 2%, 1%. It's like, all right, guys, what's this telling me?
Like you tried to tell me that he's bad. Is he good?
I don't know.
What is the comparison of this?
Oh, God. And first time the Mets were 30 games over 500 since 2006 after this win.
Pretty good team in 2006.
Really, pretty good one, yeah.
Pretty good one. Not too shabby. Now, can I talk about Sunday?
Yes.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm excited to talk about Sunday.
Yeah.
Because not only do we get the series, 4 wins in the series on this day, but we got Jacob deGrom making his season debut in Citi Field, and I got goosebumps. When Simple Man came
Spiritual.
on. It was spiritual.
I'm so mad I missed it.
It was so sick. I was out in...
I got caught in so much traffic coming from Brooklyn. It was ridiculous.
Hey, you sprinted here.
I was sweating. Mark saw me like dripping off my face, like sweat in the first inning.
Follow us on Instagram at Mets'd Up. That video's still up there.
I put a crazy video out there. It was like really running through the parking lot while Simple Man was playing, just like MFing the traffic.
And we were at the game in Washington.
Yeah, we were.
And we were talking about the Mets fans cheering for the pitches.
Yeah.
When Jacob deGrom came out to Simple Man,
Yeah.
there was like everybody. It was like they said, "All rise!" And, like everybody stood up, and then all of a sudden he started throwing pitches, and everyone was like, "Yeah, yeah!" And they threw the first pitch, which was a fly out to right field for Starling Marte, and everyone's like, "It's happening again!" Like it's been so long. deGrom, even after the game, deGrom was a little giddy, and he was smiling, he was happy, and he was like,
It's a ball player.
He talked about like he wasn't nervous, but he got the feelings again of like, oh yeah, I'm back. I'm here at Citi Field. The fans were amazing all day. He gave shout out to the fans as well. This guy, he's a different pitcher when this team's a different team when he's pitching.
Yeah, it's clear. Even we got Jeff Passan of ESPN who hates the Mets to actually talk about how different this team seems with Jacob deGrom. I wrote this entire section of our outline in caps because I was so happy to watch Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, we won't scream it, but it's something that I would consider screaming.
Perfect through 5 2/3 innings, 12 strikeouts, the most strikeouts by a Mets pitcher in a start this season, and only 5 2/3 innings.
I kind of forgot he was perfect for almost 6 innings in this game.
Double the strikeout total from last week in Washington or earlier this week in Washington. He struck out at every single hitter in the Braves lineup at least once. This is a pretty good lineup. The Braves swung and missed at the first 18 sliders thrown. And then until Michael Harris, who ended up drawing... No, he didn't draw the walk. Adrianza drew the walk.
Yeah.
So with 5 1/3 through, no Braves hitter touched the slider.
No, he's so unbelievable. He's just...
He got 18 whiffs on 20 swings. That's the most whiffs on a pitch with at least 20 swings against it in the pitch tracking era. That's 2008, right, John?
Yes.
And I know that he gave the home run to Dansby, but this dude is he's so incredibly good. You watch him on the mound, and you kind of forget because it's been a year.
Yeah.
You watch him pitch, you're like, oh, yeah, he's the best pitcher on the planet. And it's really not even that close in my opinion.
And it was crazy to see that he had this amazing outing, did give up that home run to Dansby. Just with Jacob deGrom, throws the fastball. While it's impossible to hit, when you do hit it, it's going to go. It's 102 miles an hour up in the zone usually. And he came out of the game after that, got a massive ovation from the Queens faithful. And he got in the dugout and just slammed that glove on the ground.
Which is something we don't see from deGrom too often. We don't see that kind of emotion. But honestly,
he got thrown into the middle of a pennant race here.
Yeah.
One of the most important games of the season.
No, I kind of like it. I like a little emotion. I've always talked about the Mets needing more edge previous years. And the Mets, this team's got some edge this year.
Buck almost got thrown out in the first inning.
Yeah, he's
dumb call.
Talking about, we didn't even talk about that. The Nimmo play. If you guys remember, the Nimmo slide in the baseline with Williams Astudillo in Miami, it happened again against the Braves, and the umpires botched it.
Totally botched.
Absolute botch job here. They called him...
Same play, different call.
Different call. They said,
sense.
You're right, he wasn't tagged, so he's safe. So the call that he was out on the tag was overturned. But
shout out Harrison, still over 80, I believe over 80% still in our video reviews.
He should be. He's a beast out there. One of the best I think the best
He's
in the
the
league,
best
actually.
in the business.
But then they said that because Nimmo got tagged again afterwards, like after they threw the ball at first or whatever, that he was still out. And it was like, well, you basically blew the whistle.
I believe the Marlins did that.
Yeah,
that
the Marlins
time
did the exact same thing. So it's like you blew the whistle if you're playing in football or basketball, and then you're like, oh, well, you didn't keep running? The whistle was blown. Like, that's in football, when the whistle's blown.
Well, that's why a lot of guys in football, even like half a joke, they will just pick up a ball, run to the end zone.
Yeah.
Get next play, doesn't matter. Just run to the end zone just in case.
It was horrible. Buck said that if the Mets, I think, it was either more or less pitchers available today. I don't remember what way he was going.
No, I think he meant if there are more pitchers available. And maybe it was less.
I think if there was less available, that he would have just gotten tossed. He's like, I would have been out of here quickly. He's like, so I would have had I got to buy Christmas presents. He knew he was talking about fines, which, I don't know, Buck, I think someone can handle that for you.
And Nimmo also had a really funny quote just talking about deGrom and getting upset with the glove throwing. He said that Jacob deGrom is so competitive that if they were playing Tiddlywinks, he'd really want to win. I don't even know what that is.
I think Tiddlywinks is a game where you pull out straws from a cylinder, and I think you don't want them to drop.
Oh, that's Tiddlywinks?
I believe so.
Seems like a fun game for a fourth grader.
Brandon Nimmo has probably played his fair share of Tiddlywinks in Wyoming or wherever he's from.
Yeah, day by day.
Yeah.
Do they have high school Tiddlywinks in Wyoming?
They don't even have high school baseball, so he was playing Tiddlywinks.
What was like that classic fourth grade snack at the end of the birthday party? Like muddy something, like dirt?
Muddy Buddies?
No, it was like a big thing of dirt, but it was like chocolate and gummy worms.
Mudslide?
Maybe something like that. Yeah, someone brought it up to me the other day, and I was like, I can't believe you just said that, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Chocolate pudding, Oreo crumbles,
and
like
gummy worms. Yeah,
that thing is elite. That was a TGIF special right there.
Also, we're talking about Jacob deGrom a lot. He pitched really well in this game. We gotta shout somebody else out. This Joely Rodriguez.
Big for the James Shano legacy.
Oh my God. He's been pretty bad recently too, so I haven't been talking about him as much, of course. But wow, did Joely Rodriguez find a way to save this game? The Mets did not have a lot of relievers available after the doubleheader and I think 7 games in 7 days, going back to last week. And Joely Rodriguez got 7 outs.
He came back out for the second inning after getting a quick out to Matt Olson,
we're like,
the Joely special.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, another one.
Austin Riley,
the middle of this order. Okay, Joely. And then he came out for a second inning.
Felt like my soul was leaving my body.
And we were like, oh boy, this just... I guess this is what they have to do. We're like, where's Adonis Medina? He's warming up. This guy should be ready to go. But it didn't matter. Joely supremacy was here.
7 outs, 4 strikeouts. Threw 21 changeups and 30 pitches thrown, which is by far his highest changeup rate of the season. And I think we had more than 10 pitches, which if it's going like that, the pitcher got 9 whiffs on 13 swings. That's what you got to do. Most whiffs he's ever had in an outing in his career, and that's just on the changeup.
And he had 4 Ks too, which were the most he ever had in an outing as well in his career.
And the offense just smoked the ball all day.
Dude,
I remember Pete hitting a laser beam down the line that didn't bounce off anything else. That was smoked. Who else?
Starling Marte crushed the ball.
Crushed one,
Lindor.
Oh, yeah.
Lindor was smoking
Mark
the ball.
Canha hit one probably 135 miles an hour into the alley.
If you check
that
back
Michael Harris played perfectly.
Yeah, if you check back the box score, what did the Mets have? I think
10 hits versus 2 from the Braves.
Yeah, 10 line drives, it sounds
You got to
like
get really lucky.
You can't be. Yeah, you got to be super lucky.
Super
to have
lucky.
10 hits and score 5 runs.
Imagine how lucky you have to be to score 2 runs on 2 hits.
Spencer Strider.
You got to be so lucky.
What a loser that guy
I can't believe
was.
he said that.
That right there.
That almost killed my love. Because, I don't love Spencer Strider, but I love him as a pitcher. I respect good pitching.
And he does have good
really
stuff, but
fantastic.
That's -2 respect points.
Oh, 4. -4 respect points. Whining after you just got throw punched by your rival.
2 2/3, dude. You didn't have it. Dylan Lee didn't seem to complain after the game. Dylan Lee wasn't complaining, but Spencer Strider was. What a baby. Clemson, what can you expect?
Spencer Strider just couldn't get out. I don't even get out of the third inning. He couldn't really throw strikes a lot of the time. John got a stat here. Went to 3 balls and 6 of the 16 batters faced. Must be so unlucky. You're throwing pitches out of the strike zone. So unlucky.
That's what happens when you play in a little city like Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, it's cute.
Small
cute.
market.
It's a nice, cute city.
Yeah, nice, cute city, small market. Really family environment, right? Everybody knows everybody. You know your neighbors.
Yeah, that's what Atlanta's like.
Come to the big city with the big lights. Spencer Strider couldn't handle it.
The apple.
Yeah, he went from Clemson to Atlanta, now to New York. It's like
he was born in Columbus, though. Shout out Columbus.
It's like
Go
he's in a
Bucks.
foreign country.
It's just this was too much fun. We got a good shot of Vogelbach rounding third base on Marcana's laser beam
He scored from first on a hit.
And you hit the ball so hard. Amazing, you did that.
Yeah.
Lindor scored from first on that Pete double.
Yeah, the smoked ball down the line.
The line drive. Yeah, the line
perfectly
drive.
placed line drive.
Absolutely. Lindor scored the run in 10 straight games, tied with Melvin Moore for longest such streak by a shortstop in Mets history. And no, John's happy about talking Melvin Moore's shortstop.
Threw that one in there.
Well, it's relevant, going back to what was that last episode? 2 episodes ago?
I think so.
Yeah, and then I saw that and I was like, wow, this is a nice. I'm telling you, it was a bad trade. I mean,
It was a bad
when
trade.
I said it, I meant it. It was a bad trade.
Melvin Mora.
Oh,
we
man.
miss you.
Could have had the prime Melvin Moore in that 2006 run. Oh, that would have been awesome.
We're talking about prime Melvin Mora over here. How about prime Edwin Diaz?
Prime Edwin Díaz. I mean, we don't have to talk about it anymore. It's just like, it's not even funny.
He's unhittable.
It's
He's
crazy.
literally
People in the stands are chanting his name.
Chanting
They
his
see
name.
people wanted him gone. They wanted him banished. Wanted to throw him in the Hudson River.
I used to not watch Edwin Diaz pitch.
No,
there
I
was
mean-
a period of time where we lived together when he came into the game. I
Walk
went into
away.
another room and I would not watch.
I never wavered. Mark can back me up on that.
Hey, listen, I was wrong. I'm so
Absolutely.
happy to be wrong. I'm so happy because
I also see this note that Gary called Daniel Vogelbach running around the bases 270 feet of magic.
Daniel, how many times in Daniel Vogelbach's life do you think he's ran 270 feet in consecutive motion?
Besides in a baseball field?
I don't,
Or including
even,
the baseball
even
field.
including a baseball field, because he's not running on home runs. That's a jog. That's a saunter. I think
A saunter.
that's a saunter.
I was thinking about this before. This is the first time Daniel Vogelbach's ever been like a real lineup.
Yeah.
Like going from the bad Mariners of 3 years ago to the Pirates, like he's got hitters around him. He's like putting the bat on the ball.
He's been incredible. He's an on-base
freaking
machine.
awesome. Him
He
and
gets
Ruff,
on
man.
base
Best
so
DH
much.
of baseball. God, well, this was just such a good win.
It really was.
It was like, I don't know, these last 3 games, the Mets didn't trail. We're chilling.
They got 70 wins. They have the same wins as those New
The
York
Mets
Yankees.
right? Since the beginning of the third inning on Friday, the Mets are outscoring the Braves. They got 5 in that game. They scored 4 after the third. I'm not going to do all this math, but the Mets are dominating the Braves since the explosion on Friday afternoon.
And I think
evening.
it's a good way to kind of wrap up the series too, to compare the differences between this Mets and this Braves team. Both teams good.
Yeah.
We still agree that the Braves are a good team. We poke our
Quite
fun
good.
at them, but they are a good team. We know that. But the differences between these teams were kind of stark in these last 3 games, in that the Mets were able to score 19 runs without a single home run, which is kind
That's
of crazy.
unbelievable.
And we talked about this earlier in the year, that Zausmer, Epler, all these guys were building this team for this exact reason. They wanted guys
For
that put the
Citi
ball
Field.
in play, who don't strike out, that make you work long, hard counts. They make you go deep into the game. You have to use a lot of your bullpen. And if you don't have that deep bullpen, if you don't have those weapons, you start to really feel the pressure.
And again, unlike on the other side of that, the Mets, we talked about having their 2 big horses the last 2 games of the series. The Braves also did.
Yeah.
Like Max Fried and Spencer Strider are hands down, not even just like they're 2 of the best pitchers in the Braves. They've also been 2 of the best pitchers in the National League this entire year. And the difference with these guys versus the Mets guys is stark, because the Mets can take pitches against those 2 guys. The Mets can get a couple knocks that maybe you shouldn't have gone through against those guys. And you kind of see them kind of lose it a little bit. You try to get knocked out in the 3rd inning.
Max Fried face planted trying to make a play,
Yeah,
which I
that was a
couldn't
funny
believe how
play.
hard he hit the
I know, I
ground.
felt
That was
almost bad.
for a guy who's actually
He almost
decent.
got blown up too at first base.
Oh yeah, for a guy who's a kind of decent athlete, that was the least athletic thing I've seen someone do in a long time. Just face plant into the ground.
And the other difference between these lineups, the Mets struck out 19 Atlanta Braves on Sunday. It's a franchise record for a 9-inning game.
So many.
It's ridiculous. The counter was almost full over there in left field.
They had to make the Ks smaller so that they could fit them all. I mean, home runs are nice, and I still want the Mets.
We
to
only
hit.
get 27 outs.
Yeah.
Braves only put the ball in play 10 times total. 2
Yeah.
hits, 8 fielding outs.
That's actually crazy.
Mets,
to think
Braves
about.
put the ball in play 10 times on Sunday. 10 times. Mets had 10 hits.
But the Mets got lucky.
Yeah, no, the Braves. I mean, you only put the ball in play 10 times. You should get 8 hits.
Everyone forgot.
But Braves luck. This is the Braves. The Mets seem lucky to the Braves because they're one of the luckiest baseball teams we've ever seen.
have
Adam
voodoo.
Duvall
Yeah.
won the World Series. Jorge Soler won an MVP, World Series MVP.
Eddie Rosario. Eddie
come on, it's
Rosario.
terrible.
Guillermo Heredia.
Ugh.
I mean, they were pulling Jesse Chavez out of the bullpen last year. Tucker Davidson fooled the Angels, and they traded for him because like, oh, remember when you pitched in the playoffs? I don't want to hear the lucky thing. The Mets are just a straight up good team. And
Yeah.
unlike our Braves counterparts, we have respect for our opponents at times.
Of course, yeah.
We have knowledge of baseball, and we will say the Braves are a good team where
They're a really good
they
team.
continue to talk trash, and you just look at the records and you go, oh, Mets are 70-39 in first place with a 6.5 game lead. Must be luck.
It's just thank God the Mets had all these games to play against the Braves. So while the Braves are playing against the Phillies, the Nationals, the Cubs, like the Mets can play them and lengthen the division lead back
Yes,
out.
yeah.
Like if the Mets played the Braves every game, it seems like we'd be winning this division by an infinite amount of games.
Yeah, thank goodness they don't get the
Oh my
playoffs all the
God!
time.
Right? Like the Braves really screwed their season up by having to play against the Mets.
Dude, we're so lucky. We've seen 17 starts from deGrom and Scherzer in a season. So lucky.
The Mets are so lucky that they played the Braves 8 times. They've won 6 of them
So lucky.
the last month.
Oh, I left my texts on.
Can't
Anna
do that.
texting me.
Oh God! But just some other running through just things that have happened this series. Pete Alonso got his 95th RBI of the season on Sunday. He had 94 all of last year. If you guys are riding with the Mets'd Up Podcast for the Pete Alonso RBI bet, we're in a sweat right now. You're really ready to make some cash. Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom in these games, 12 2/3 innings pitched, 23 strikeouts, 2 earned, 1 walk, 5 hits. Come on, that's pretty unbelievable. Jeff McNeil, 10-game hitting streak. Mentioned Lindor before, scored the run 10 straight games. Edwin Díaz has struck out 12 of the 19 Braves he's faced this season. You kidding me?
It's
Doesn't make any
unbelievable.
sense.
The vibes are so good right now. Everyone was chanting, "Let's go Mets." That's when you know going down the ramps
Yeah.
and down the stairwell when you're hearing a "Let's go Mets" chant. It's awesome. I put out on Twitter on ours at Mets'd Up asking how everyone feels. Some funny ones. Ron Pope, who's a musician that follows the
Brooklyn.
stuff. Great guy. Like Mr. Met could jump on my back and I'd run through a wall. Not just run through a wall himself. He'll put Mr. Met on his back and do it with him.
Oh my God, it's a good one. You got any others?
I got some more in here. A couple
Scroll
people
around.
were just, I mean, like you get the World Series champions lock, which
Yeah.
I'm not going there. I'm not
No,
pulling
we're
a
not gonna say
Salicata
that.
by any means. Confident but not cocky. Still a lot of season to go from J-Dog. That dude's a very loyal listener, so
love
shout out to
J-Dog.
him. A little more confident, better than ever, pretty freaking good. These are the quintessential 3 outcome teams, swing for the fence or just miss. Like, I think right now, there's some inappropriate ones we can't say, but I think right now the vibes are at the highest it's been all season for the Mets, and it's a great time to be a Mets podcaster, too.
No, it's an amazing time. You also look at the schedule like, oh, next Monday, we got the Braves again.
Yeah.
4 games in Atlanta.
In Atlanta. It's
Doesn't-
like we get a little break maybe with the Reds, which we'll talk about that here in a couple of minutes after we do our fun
No,
stuff.
but yeah, after the Reds, it goes Phillies, Braves, Phillies, Yankees.
Yeah. So the toughest part of the schedule for the rest of the year is probably coming up right now.
I mean, the toughest part of the schedule, I think we almost kind of got through a few weeks ago, like right before the All-Star break.
That's fair, yeah.
But this is another. This is the last one in the regular season that's really intense.
And the Mets were able to make up some ground there.
Yeah,
Give
no,
themselves a little more
just
cushion.
got to play against the Braves. You want to like get division lead.
All right, so let's go ahead and do our fun stuff for this episode. Now we have the Esti-Met and the Big Three. Let's start off with the Esti-Met. John, what do you got for us this time?
I
After
have a huge congratulations for you. That's what I have.
Woo!
The monkey's off your back.
Thank
How does
God.
it feel?
It feels like I'm 100 pounds lighter. It feels like I could put
Yeah.
Mr. Met on my back and run through a wall,
Amen.
taking that
How
from
about
Ron.
Mrs. Met too? Throw her on.
Yeah, I'll
also.
throw her
Yeah,
on too.
get
Why
her on
not?
there.
I mean, put me on the mound. I'm pumping 99 right now.
Yeah, I mean, big part about this. So the 3 Mets trade deadline acquisitions: Tyler Naquin, Darren Ruff, Daniel Vogelbach. 10 hits in this series, 3 home runs. All 3 by Naquin.
Vogelbach had one.
Vogelbach,
yeah.
I forgot the back-to-back on Thursday, right? And 8 RBIs. So you needed the boys to go like a little bit better than 300 to win you this, and they didn't.
Yeah, I believed. And that's a very common thing for the Mets fans. So, John, what is our estimate this time?
Well, I was going to say, if you win this one, it's a winning streak.
So it's don't let me get hot. Don't let me get hot. You smell a comeback right now?
And if anyone needs a winning streak, it's Mark. All right, so you said you feel like you can go out and pump 99 right now.
Yeah.
And that is thematic because this week's estimate is the total number of strikeouts in the upcoming 3-game series with the Reds by the Diaz brothers. And some numbers to back that up. Alexis has a 31.4% strikeout rate on the season.
Pretty good.
Pretty
really good.
respectable. Sub 1 whip, too. So he's a really nice year.
He's a good pitcher.
Yes.
Definitely a good pitcher.
Edwin says that Alexis' slider is better than his own.
That's
He's being modest.
No, that can't be true. I know it can't be true,
That's
but
called
like
He's
brotherly
being
love.
the
nice.
slider is good though.
Yeah, he's a good pitcher.
Absolutely. Edwin, including today's outing, a 52.9% K rate, which
disgusting.
doesn't make sense.
No.
And quite frankly, he's on pace for one of the best regular seasons by a reliever ever, but we could discuss that at another time. So, total strikeouts, 3-game series. Mark, actually, James, you got to go first again. You still have a 4-game lead.
Gotta go first. We're changing the rules because I'm winning.
Thank
Yes.
God.
Oh, that's so
Thank God.
dumb.
I have a
All right.
I have a number I have in my head.
Okay, I'm gonna say
Don't you say it. Don't you say my number. If you say my number, I'm going to scream. I'm not going to like it. I'm gonna be like, you should have let me pick. But I guess this is the game I play, letting you set the line.
6.
Oh, no. That's the exact number I had.
I'm saying so you should have gone
I
first.
thought 4 for Edwin, 2 for Alexis. Oh, that's so messed up.
Go with 6.
I'm going to go over.
Yeah, that's
I'm
probably
going to
the
go
right play.
over.
Smart.
I think I have to go over with that one because
Yeah, you
there's a
got it.
world where Edwin gets 6 strikeouts on his own.
Yeah.
And Alexis is good for probably 1.
I like this because there's also a world where maybe Edwin Díaz gets 1 inning and Alexis gets also 1 inning in the series. Taking 1 blowout. So
Man.
I'm happy to go 6 or under.
6 is really good.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Thanks for letting me set the line, John.
Yeah, John, you killed me on that
Why
one.
don't I try to help you out? I mean, the first 4, you went first, and James just undercut you by 1. And
You gave me numbers that I could understand this time. You didn't ask me for pitches. You
Yeah.
gave me something that was very quantifiable.
Pitches was
in my
abstract.
head. Yeah, very quantifiable. You gave me the K rates. I literally ran the numbers. I was like 2 for Alexis, 4 for Edwin. That's like what the numbers tell me. Just strike everyone out again, Edwin. That's all I'm asking for. I don't even care what your brother does. Just you get all the strikeouts and I'll be happy.
We'll see. I'm pretty confident there because I feel like Edwin's is definitely not pitching Monday.
No, he could.
You think?
No,
I don't think so.
Definitely not.
Yeah,
Definitely
probably
not.
I don't know.
well, Tuesday, Wednesday are in play.
They're very much
100%.
in
Yeah,
play.
probably. Yeah, good chance he pitches both, depending. But also, I'm banking with my number a blowout. Mets win blowout.
Yeah, that would be. You know what? I'll be happy to lose that one if the Mets are blowing out the Reds.
Okay,
I'm okay
perfect.
with that. I'll swallow my pride there. Now for our big 3, I think we agreed we're going to talk about what the worst things about Atlanta for our big 3.
Absolutely.
That's an easy one.
I'm always down to trash Atlanta because
For
I mean,
sure.
is it even a city? It's a town basically.
No,
it's a glorified town.
It's a cute suburb.
It's like a county.
Yeah. I mean, it's in the South. I don't know.
Yeah.
Come on.
Anything south of New York, like doesn't, but anything south of New Jersey doesn't even count.
I mean, it depends where you are in New Jersey.
Well, we know that Philadelphia doesn't. That's not real. So
Philly, west of LA.
yeah.
Or west of Philly, east of LA.
Big 3, I think, John, you want to start this one off? I know you were very passionate about yours when we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's got to be the Atlanta Thrashers, RIP. For all my
crazy.
not hockey fan
All
friends
the
out
podcast
there.
listeners clicking off.
Well, I guess that's the risk. What a stress. Talk about the airport. I feel like that's just as boring, if not worse. Although the airport does suck.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, there was an NHL team in Atlanta in the 70s, the Atlanta Flames. They go to Calgary. The NHL says we'll give it another try. They put the Thrashers in. Phillips Arena at the time is what it was called. And it
crazy.
didn't work. It didn't work. I mean, they had some crazy, crazy uniform combinations they tried. I don't believe they even won a playoff game during their time in Atlanta. The Rangers swept them in 07. Shout out Michael Nylander. Big hat trick in that series.
These good
Nice.
names.
Michael Nylander. I always thought Michael Nylander's name was funny because he played in New York. And I think
Not
he
for
was,
the Islanders.
I think he was traded to New York. Oh, he was also a Ranger at some point.
Yeah, he did play for the Rangers. Didn't play for the Islanders. Should have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But NY Lander. He landed in New York.
Look at that.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
I only looked at the Islander way of that. There was also a guy named Paul Ranger play for the Lightning, but I digress.
So your pick is the Thrashers.
My pick is the Atlanta Thrashers. I mean, why? Just why? It never had a chance. It was the worst idea ever. And the people of Atlanta are to blame for this. You know, that team did have some stars. Ilya Kovalchuk.
Yes, that's the guy I was thinking of. I was between him and Brizgalov. Is that another
Ilya
guy?
Brizgalov. I don't think he played for them.
Yeah, I
he
knew it
played
was
for
an Ilya,
Philly.
though. I knew it was an Ilya.
There's a lot of Ilyas out there. Danny Heatley, another superstar. Marion Hossa. There was a lot of talent. Kari Lettinen, former first overall pick. And it was just an epic disaster. Their attendance was reminiscent of what we see for Braves playoff games. Okay, I'm done trashing Atlanta.
Hey,
Sorry.
Bang,
Hey,
bang,
now.
bang. That's good. Leading into my worst things about Atlanta is closing out championship games. That's a rough one for them because we remember the Atlanta Falcons being up 28-3 against the Patriots. And even if they would have just simply run the ball another one extra time, or what was the play? It was like a holding or a sack, something crazy.
Oh,
at the
yeah,
end of
it
that
took a
game.
crazy sack.
Yeah, someone took a crazy sack, took him out of field goal range. Literally all I needed was to make the 2-possession game to end that. That was rough. Also, there's so many chokes from like the Falcons that people forget about Georgia.
Yeah.
University of Georgia, who Atlanta, I think, claims more often than not.
Definitely.
Blowing multiple. I know they just won their big one this year, so congratulations to them. Finally got to beat Alabama. But before that, blew a couple SEC title games late. They blew that crazy game when Tua threw the overtime touchdown. That was rough. So, shout out Atlanta, blowing games.
For me, I mean, if you're a Knicks fan, there's one guy that you think of, and it's Trae Young. I can't say the saying on here because we try to keep it remotely family friendly, but Trae Young is like one of the worst things that's happened to Atlanta.
Oh,
The
yeah.
guy is a prolific scorer. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But he is just a prolific loser. This
Yeah,
guy,
ugly.
besides the like series against the Knicks, I feel like he doesn't really do anything that's important.
Not much.
I don't know if he has a big game bone in his entire body. I also found out that Trey's not even his real first name.
No, what
His
is
name's
it?
Rayford Trae Young.
I think Rayford might be cooler.
Rayford
he might be the
cooler.
third.
He could be a third. Oh, no, his middle name is Trey, it
That's
says.
worse.
He's got bad hair.
Bad.
I mean,
Actually, he's not bad hair. He's some of the worst hair I'd say on earth. He looks like one of those little troll dolls from the 90s.
I'm all for the bald. I'm not a bald shamer. Larry David, of course.
Oh, no, yeah.
Absolute legend. We have respect.
We don't hate on the bald. Anyone in this room could become bald at some point in their life. I won't shame baldness.
No, but that being said, you have to pick a side. You
Yeah.
can't be Trae Young and have a little bit of hair, but
You
also be bald.
you can't quit at like 21 years old like Trae Young is. You just buzz it back.
Like-
imagine how dumb Trae Young would look if he was bald, like totally hairless.
You know what, that's
with
like-
a headband over the bald head.
If he was a winner, he would have the dedication to do that because the hair hasn't won him anything thus far.
No.
So we saw Cody Bellinger shave his head. That's a guy who was trying to do something to
Didn't
make
work.
something happen. It didn't work. But he was at least trying. Trae Young, this guy's just content with scoring 25 a game.
Not playing defense.
Filling the stat sheet. He's a modern-day Russell Westbrook, basically.
Oh, he's not as impactful as Russell Westbrook was in his prime.
At least Russell Westbrook was getting triple-doubles.
At least Russell Westbrook was like going crazy on the court trying to win.
He's a stat stuffer. That's all Trae Young is. He'll never win anything, and he can go ahead and be irrelevant in Atlanta till the end of time.
Definitely. Yep. Any others, guys?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, you could talk about the traffic. You could talk about the airport.
Yeah.
There's
The
plenty of
airport's
things.
The
brutal.
humidity.
The tomahawk chop.
That's awful.
I mean, ugh.
What do they even like? Do they have a famous food? I guess barbecue, but
Fried
like
chicken,
every other
wings,
big barbecue city's
lemon-
better.
Yes, I would never
Wings.
say you have to go to Atlanta to get
Wings.
there. I wouldn't even say you have to go there for their wings.
No, you don't have to go there, but if you're there, you should eat them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
The wings
Well,
are good anywhere.
Atlanta has delivered us a lot of great rap music from this era.
for sure.
Can't say it.
Give them
Yeah,
that.
right.
Yeah, the
King
good,
of the South.
the Gucci Mane autobiography is something that was it's a page turner.
Yeah. I mean, they've got good music. I'll give them that.
Yeah. We're all, hopefully Young Thug will work the situation out.
Yeah, shout out Rico. But anyway, you guys could let us know on Twitter who you think had the best of the big three, as we always do.
And tell us what you hate about most about Atlanta.
Yeah, we'd love to hear it.
I want to talk
Sports
Thrashers. Hit me
Sports
up.
Talk Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh, that's
That's the worst one. That guy is the worst. Oh my god.
Didn't really want to mention him.
Probably talking about Ty Algier right now and how great he looked in Falcons camp.
I don't know who you just named.
He was a BYU running back. He was one of the most prolific college Division I running backs
You
of the
can't
last
just
3
say
years.
he was the BYU running
He was
back.
incredible. He was like 2,000 yards a year. That guy was
Ty
awesome.
Algier.
He was incredible.
Not a name.
He was one of the most athletic Mormons we've seen this era.
Better than Jimmer.
Different type of athlete, more physically athletic rather than Jimmer was more skill and finesse.
Jimmer changed the game. Steph Curry gets all the credit for changing the game. Jimmer did it first.
Jimmer
Jimmer
can't walk down the streets in China without getting mobbed by a crowd.
Yeah, Steph Curry. I'm sure Steph Curry probably can't either.
Yeah, I know.
But
Neither can
Jimmer,
Marbury.
Jimmer
Yeah,
crawled
no
so
Marbury.
Steph could walk. Is that what they say?
Are you sure? I think Steph Curry was in the league before Jimmer.
Nah, Jimmer did it first.
I am almost positive Steph Curry was in the NBA before Jimmer was prolific.
Jimmer made it cool.
I don't think that's true at all.
Anyway, well, we've been talking a lot about BYU and
Mormons
in general. Let's go ahead and wrap up this episode here by doing the series preview against the Reds. It's a quick one. Not a very good team, but they're also
No.
not that bad.
No, they're not that bad. We mentioned it when we played them 2 weeks ago. They're like nearing 500 since they had that awful 20-game losing streak early in the year. Like, they're fine.
They did get a lot worse though, because there's no Luis Castillo.
Yeah, that's
there's no
significantly
Brandon
worse.
Drury.
Yeah, that's good.
Those are the big
and-
moves.
Oh, and
Tyler
Mahle, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to actually be facing, kind of hilariously, Justin Dunn on Monday night.
yeah.
Coming home. One, he is from the Northeast, Connecticut, I believe. Also, the Mets traded him in that very, very funny trade for Edwin Díaz way back when.
I'm coming home.
Play the music. That's John, you guys. I mean, we're in the command room right now. Can we cue that video up?
Yeah, there'll be a tribute. Thank you for Justin Dunn.
Back where I belong.
Really nice guy. Interviewed him.
Yeah, I'm sure he's great.
Local guy, played against him
First
in
round pick.
Cooperstown against his stud team when we were 12, the Long Island Titans or Outlaws, one of those. They won that whole tournament. They were also cheaters. They had multiple guys that were multiple years above. 14-year-olds playing 12-year-olds. No wonder you guys won. You cheated. So, losers. Justin Dunn, though, was the star pitcher on that team. I hope he stinks, though, on Monday.
Chris Bass is going to go against Justin Dunn on Monday. Carlos Carrasco against Mike Minor on Tuesday. Mike Minor has bad stats, but in a stadium like Citi Field, we're just going to, if the balls don't go out, there are going to be a lot of fly balls. We're going to be very frustrated because Mike Minor will get through like 5 scoreless innings. Call that now. And then Taiwan Walker in the matinee on Wednesday. Reds have not yet named a starter.
Is it Graham Ashcraft?
He pitched yesterday. Will not be Graham. Or today. It'll be yesterday. When
Well,
this is
no,
up.
you know why? Because Hunter Green went on the IL. I think this might have been supposed to be his spot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe this could be like a Tony Santillan, who's a guy that's gotten some spot starts for them in the past. Regardless, whoever it is, we should beat them.
Yeah, I hope to beat them.
Should be able to hit. This Reds team is not particularly good. They have some players, but
Some players also trade Tommy Pham, so no one has to worry about any face slaps.
trade Tyler Naquin.
Trade Tommy Naquin to us, thank God. Change the game. Tyler Stevenson's back in the IL.
Yep.
He keeps like getting freak injuries this year. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, it sucks for them.
In the middle of a real breakout year. I mean, Nick
Definitely.
Senzel's hitting a little bit. Alexis Diaz, a fine reliever.
Oh wait, no, we have 2 actual guys that deserve the coming home. Not Justin Dunn. We have Albert Almora and Matt Reynolds.
Yeah, please. Do make it one video.
Matt Reynolds. Matt Reynolds was on that 2015 playoff roster.
Was.
I mean, yeah, we could do a compilation. We'll see. We'll see what we can work in.
If my dad was here, he would give a standing ovation to Matt Reynolds, his favorite player for no reason. But
why?
You know what? I think
No reason.
Matt Reynolds plays the game the right way.
Sure. What
Plays the game the
does
right
that
way.
mean? Doesn't hit the ball hard?
He works hard. He plays good defense.
No home runs,
He
they kill rallies.
He hustles.
Yeah,
he
I love
hustles.
that.
He's a team player. He'll drop you a bunt.
You guys want to hear something tragic?
Yes.
I forgot to make moves in one of my fantasy baseball leagues. I'm just an outfielder short coming up this week.
It's 9:45 on Sunday. You
I
can't
know
make a move?
the waivers go through Sunday at 9.
That's unfortunate.
Oh my god! Worst part is I'm the commissioner. I made that rule.
Oh well, that's on you.
Tragedy. Fran Reyes got cut this week. Can't believe that.
That's unbelievable. Oh, crap. Fran Mail, take a look at him. But anyway, I think that's a perfect way for us to wrap up this extremely long episode of the
Incredibly,
Mets'd Up Podcast.
Is this like an hour-ish?
I don't know. I don't know how long we're at. 1 hour, apparently, is
All right.
what we're
That's
being
not even
told.
that bad for us. But the last couple were like 120. With less talk about.
You know what? It's at the game end at 7:30 and it's 9:45 right
Yeah,
now.
it's not
So it's been a
crazy.
long day.
Actually get a real night's sleep.
Yeah, that being said, we appreciate you guys for listening and watching whatever you do.
Also, appreciate everyone who came to the ballpark this weekend. This stadium was electric every single game. We got a long way to go here for the Mets, and the way this place was this weekend. Also, the Mets having just like basically 2 straight road home series with all the home fans in Florida and Washington. To bring that back here for this homestand is amazing. Shout out you guys.
It was awesome. Make sure you're following us on all our social media at Mets'd Up. That's on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. If you're looking for the YouTube video, the New York Mets YouTube channel.
Up to like 1,500 TikTok followers now, so that's cool too.
Shout out to you guys.
Keeps
Appreciate
going on
that.
there.
If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, wherever you find them, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, subscribe. It helps us out. We really do appreciate it. You can follow James at
James_Shiano.
and me at Giraffe Neck Mark with a C. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode after the Red Series. Peace out.
Peace out. See you guys next time.
Get up, get up, get up.